Hi folks, this is Joe. Welcome back to Canine Corner, brought to you by caninep4.com. Thanks for stopping by, and if you find our videos are helpful to you, don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell deal. Also, this video is going to be about precision. The earlier videos we've done have talked specifically about precision. Some people like to call precision reproducibility. The terms are really interchangeable. So if you would prefer to call it reproducibility, that's fine. And again, the definition of that is taking a single sample and running it multiple times on the same instrument by the same person in the same environment to see how much difference you get. And they're done the testing is done one after the other, so there's no time delays. That's really what reproducibility and precision will be. So we'll use the terms interchangeably, and let's go on to the video and we'll show you what we mean. Okay, the factors that determine precision. The next few slides will go through in detail the different things that will affect your precision. Keep in mind, everything you do on a benchtop unit where you have to do it manually, everything you do will affect the precision. That means if you're not very precise in your pipetting or your mixing, or the environment's too cold or too hot, or you pulled your sample, all of those things will affect precision. To make it, it could make it so that the precision levels are so wide that you can't really interpret the numbers correctly. Now, this is simple to fix. Again, precision is in the details. Each little step, each step is super simple. Just learning how to do each step the correct way will actually get you a cumulative precision to where at the end you'll be very happy with the numbers that you get. So I hope that helps. Let's go and we'll walk this through. All right, folks, first thing we're going to do is just do a quick summary of precision. And keep in mind, precision and reproducibility are interchangeable terms. Technically, there is a slight difference between the meaning of the two terms, but for what we're using them for, they're identical. So if somebody calls it reproducibility, is how reproduce, well, what's the reproducibility of your instrument, or what's the precision of your instrument? They mean the same thing. And again, as a summary, we're just talking about that along the cycle days, the chart of your instrument, this one is based off of IDEX range of numbers. There's no such thing as just getting a 12, 15, 18, 22. There's always a range involved, and that's determined by how precise your process is, your instrument is. We're going to go through that in a second. So just in summary, a 12 would actually be a functional range of 12. And this is just an example. Every instrument's different, could be wider, could be tighter. 12 would be 14 to about 10. 10 to 14 would be a functional range, which means your instrument's working just fine. If you ran it 5 times, you might get a 10. First 2 times, you might get a 14, you might get a 12. All of those, that's totally acceptable. That's totally expected when it comes to statistics. And again, the amount of range here depends on these things we're going to talk about in just 1 minute. The precision of it is determined by a number of things, which we'll go over in the next slide. So hang on, let's go to the next slide, and I'll show you some of the things that will be involved with how wide this range is, this precision range is, how wide it is from the mean value, up higher number and lower number. Let's go through that now. All right, for the precision measurements, there's several constituents that have to do with how precise your sample results are going to be. The first one, and we're going to go over all of them. The first one is what you're looking at here, is the level of analyzer that you're using. And we've got 2 categories here. The bottom one is what I consider clinical level analyzers. They're designed for human use. They're very precise and they're very automated. So there's very little human interaction. Once you put the sample on, you program in your patient, hit the button, runs by itself. All the pipetting, mixing, incubating is done automatically. Now a machine will do repetitive mechanical actions much better than a human being. I think we'd all agree with that. So that's usually where the precision comes in. There's other things involved, but that's the main thing. Now on the benchtop jobs at the top, these Mini Vitas up to a Emulite 2000 XPI go from $35,000 up to $125,000. Most of us wouldn't want to invest that kind of money. The top units are the benchtop units that are very common in the field. Vet labs use a lot of these. A lot of breeders use the same equipment that we're looking at right here. Now these are usually very highly manual instruments. And when I mean manual, the pipetting has to be done by the operator, the mixing has to be done by the operator, and then you put the sample in, and the instrument actually incubates it and then reads it. So in that case, because of the human interaction, the pipetting differences between an automatic system and a manual system, that will tend to push the precision out. So it's a little less precise just from the fact that it's not automated and it's not designed at the level where it's going to cost you $125,000. Let's move to the next one, and I think you'll see that when you accumulate all these, it can make quite a difference. Okay, we're going to give a quick overview again of the things that contribute to precision. The first we talked about already, the level of analyzer you're using. Is it manual, semi-automatic, automatic? Is it clinical or not? The test kit quality has a lot to do with it. Now when you tend to get up into the clinical level analyzers, the test kits cost a lot more and they are a bit more precise. Test sample quality is a big one, and this is a big one that affects dog breeders and vets when they're using any kind of analyzer. It wouldn't matter if it was an automatic or a manual system. If your sample quality is poor, say you draw it out and you hemolyze, you rupture all the red blood cells, that's going to affect your sample. If it's clotted, if it's got fatty deposits in it, there's a number of other things. So your test sample has a great deal to do with the precision of your testing. Then along with that would be your test sample handling. Is temperature of the room, temperature of your sample, test sample timing, how long from the time that you pull the blood till the time that you run it. Test sampling separation. Did you spin it long enough? Did you let it clot before you spun it? Another one is sample testing prep and delivery. This would be on the manual units. The biggest situation that causes precision problems is incorrect pipetting and using the pipetting correctly, or using it with the wrong levels, the wrong setting on it. So if you need to, pipe at 75 microliters, you got to set for 50. You're going to have a problem with your numbers. And then mixing your sample. This is a vortexer, which allows you to mechanically mix it. But if you don't mix, most of these instruments have a buffer that you mix the serum to. If you don't mix that completely, it has to be mixed from top to bottom. If it's not mixed completely, you're going to get very high, very bad precision numbers, because in different places in that tube, there's going to be different concentrations. And then the last one is test result interpretation. Every instrument, especially in the vet world, will have a different range of numbers for ovulation, and we talked about that earlier in earlier videos. You need to be able to interpret the numbers that you get against a timing chart. Otherwise, regardless of the precision, it's not going to help you much. So let's move to the next slide. All right, so you can see with all the different portions sections of areas that will affect your precision, it's really important to consider the details. So good testing is really in the details. Good testing processes, pipetting, mixing, blood drawing, temperature in the room, and all the other things that we talked about earlier will give you good precision. That means tight. That means the numbers will be tight between the mean and the high and the low. And then give you a much better way to interpret your numbers for breeding. Example, ovulation at 5. If your techniques are really bad, your pulls are really bad, it could be you could get numbers from 5 to 8 on the high end and 5 to 3 on the low end. So you can go 3 to 8 would be your range for ovulation, which would make it really hard to know when your dog has actually hit the ovulation level. So all of these steps are very important, and not to be freaked out by it, because to learn to do it correctly is just as easy as to learn to do it incorrectly. It doesn't take any more time to learn to do it right than to learn to do it wrong. It's actually when you do it wrong, you got to relearn the whole thing. So the best advice I can give you is to learn to do all these processes we talked about correctly the first time, and you'll be super happy with any instrument that you buy, and it will make a great deal of difference. Now, in later videos, we're going to go over the details of all the things that we mentioned on that last slide, the sample handling, the sample draws, and pipetting, and all the rest. We'll go over each one of them in detail in later videos. This is an outline to show you how important these things are to your precision and reproducibility. And we're confident that with the support and the technical help that we provide for all of our customers, and also the video training that's available on our websites when you purchase any product. If you go through that at the beginning, and we've got a technical staff that's always available to call in to ask for help and send in a video of your sampling so we can evaluate it. We do all these things to make sure that you can get the best results possible. And again, good testing is in the details, and we got your back. So thanks for stopping by. Be looking for these new videos as they come out. Each one will, again, deal with the details of the things we're talking about. Also, when you purchase anything on our website, all that information is already available on our training site. So once you buy, you log in, you have videos and audios and PDFs and all the stuff you need, including a hotline to an engineer that can talk you through any questions you might have. So thanks for taking time with us, and be looking for those other videos. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.